Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, just continuing where we were. We stopped last week. Are you comfortable like this? Okay. O my senseless soul and foolish friend. It's not an accusation, a person. It's because the friend is an imaginary person, or maybe your understanding is your friend accompanying you. Your attitude is your friend accompanying you. Of course, senseless soul, soul is dim. Soul is dim. Doesn't see beyond what apparently is. So by its nature, it sees only, for example, let's say, if you didn't have the emotions and power to think, your eyes will see, but you wouldn't make any, or you wouldn't notice that there is a meaning what you are seeing here. As looking at a book, and you have no means of understanding and extracting the meaning from the book. So what you see, excuse me, they like animals. They look at the book, what they do, they say, it's nothing to be eaten, so. So, the function of the soul in human body is trying to draw his attention to the surface of creation, or we may call it just the material side of the creation, not meaning of the creation. That's why to call soul means not spirit, by the way. This is if you say lower soul, or how else would you say this in Arabic? Nafs, not ruh. Base.
Ego.
Yeah.
That's just sometimes translated as ego.
So inshallah we can give way to sisters to go through. So we can get the things ready for the sisters to offer, inshallah. And the tea as well. I think you tea, inshallah. You see? Aleyküm selam. Kusura bakmıyorsunuz değil mi?
Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş. Allah, hürmetler. Allah razı olsun. Hoş bulduk. Maşallah. So, speaking to that aspect of that side of human beings, do you suppose your life's duty is restricted to following the good life according to the requisites of civilization? The problem is civilization here, the world. Why? Civilization is reduced to offer him, if you would like to get a cup of tea. Çay ister miydiniz? Lütfen.
Ben içtim aşağıda.
Çay. Peki brownie?
Teşekkür. No.
Okay. So civilization, according to the requisites of civilization. Of course, by definition, the author is not against civilization or civilizing, whatever you call it, or town life or social life, to have a regular life or with other people. But the civilization represents here only a type of life, or a type of life that a community leads, which is not based on revelation. That is secular civilization, that's materialistic civilization. That when he means civilization, because said his dated terminology in original language, dated there, when they say al-Madaniya, when they mean here, for example, there are two types of laws, حقوق الشرعية and حقوق المدنية. So there, Madaniya represents any institution or any type of understanding which is not based on revelation. So I think it's clear that revelation means the message which, yeah, please. So the revelation means the message from the creator of this world, drawing our attention to the source of the existence of this world. I think that needs to be closed. Please. From drawing our attention to the source of it, it means reminding us that there is something beyond it. There is something beyond it, which is called, according to the conditions of this world, el-ghaib. Oh, of course, we keep telling that el-ghaib does not mean really unknown, but el-ghaib means something which is beyond the perception of human capacity as we look at this world, as it is, the world appears to be to us. El-ghaib means what they refer to. For example, if I wanted to give an example, look at a book. When you look at a book, you see the page, you see some signs on it, signs of the ink on it. So at first, the meaning transferred in the book to me is el-ghaib. But can we not get the meaning? Don't we have any means to have an access to the meaning represented in the book? Yes, we have. Yeah, but it needs a second attempt. It needs a second attempt. Second attempt means that first it looks like a paper, and there's a signs of ink on it. But the second attempt, use again your ability to try to make sense of these signs here, scribbles on it. Do you see the meaning? You extract the meaning out of it. So the message that the Creator sends us through His messengers draws our attention, this message draws our attention and encourages us to see what is the meaning that you can extract from the creation, right? The universe. So in your own existence, it also needs to be taken seriously in order to understand what is beyond it, which kind of message you get. The feed from your own feeling, from our own feeling, which kind of message I get. So I interact with the rest of the world, I will try to read it, because the messengers come and tell us that, the messengers altogether, all of them, come and tell us that there is meaning beyond everything which exists in this world. So civilization says, no, everything is as it is. That's what the definition of secular life or materialist your materialism, if you like. It's matter itself. So what I saw here, for example, the thermos, that's it. So the messengers say, no, thermos is there for a purpose, to expect you to extract the meaning in its existence. So the requisites of civilization is not to be our aim. Yeah, it shouldn't be our aim. So the soul, by definition, or the lower soul or ego, by definition, doesn't acknowledge it at first. If you so. And if you will excuse the expression, to gratifying the physical appetites, it means the life's duty is restricted to gratifying the physical appetites. Do you think we are here? So because we are human beings, we are not animals. So for animals, correct. But human beings make further inquisition, further look for further meaning behind the events, because we are given the ability to question that. I don't know, inshallah we shouldn't go on the meaning of ghaib so deep that we can lose the trace of the subject. But ghaib usually understood, may be understood by certain people, certain attitudes of the people, said, we don't know, and carries on. We cannot know. Okay? So ghaib is only to be accepted in an imitative way. It means whatever I am told, that's it, I accept that. But that attitude is wrong. Are we aware of that? So what's wrong with that? Anybody would like to say anything? Why? So I am told that, for example, something exists. So that's ghaib for me because I am not experiencing that thing in this world. So I have to take it for granted that if I am told that that exists, I have to accept it. Something sounds wrong, huh? Because of the expression is important. Not only ghaib, but the Quran speaks about always. I said always, but I have to check. Mostly, but maybe always, I'm sure, yu'minuna bil ghaib. It means they believe in the existence of something beyond what appears to be here. So we have to understand the term ghaib accompanied with yu'minuna. It means they believe. Belief requires what? So, yeah, confirmation, certainty. So it means ghaib is something to be confirmed. Ghaib is something to be certain of the about the existence of that thing. No, my English is ghaib, something that I have to be certain about. Although ghaib, but I have to be certain about. It means I have been given the ability to understand it, to be able to be certain about the existence of it. So it doesn't mean that doesn't mean only that we don't know. That's it. We just take it for granted. We just imitate it. We just accept it. Is there something to be questioned here? Any question?
Yes. What is the problem with taking it for granted?
So
if you, I mean, you take it for granted, you trust the person that tells you that. I can see many problems, but I would like your take on that, because
if you see a lot of many problems, it means let's share it. Would you like to share your ideas where the problems lie?
Yes. Well, in discussions with friends from Egypt, for example, not trying to convince them of anything, but basically they see your approach, this approach of Nursi, or your approach, to arrive at the same conclusion as the other approach that most of the people take in Egypt, which is we take things for granted, or we confirm things, but at the end we both pray. What is the big deal? Or not everybody is able to understand the meaning in things and arrive at these conclusions themselves. And I think this reduces religion. Not only does it reduce it, I think it takes away everything away from religion, because then you focus on the prayer as being the I mean, I don't really know, but I see a lot of problems, because otherwise you cannot get to the state that the Quran says, which is you live your whole life and you think that you believe in the Quran, but you really don't, because you cannot be one of those people who believe in life, because you never did.
It doesn't mean that you denied.
No, you don't.
It means you didn't use your abilities, your faculties.
But how dangerous is that? I mean, does that mean that you're not Muslim?
Oh,
no,
titles.
not to judge any particular
labels. I'm very sensitive.
No, not to judge any particular person.
Okay. No, about yourself as well.
But like,
you don't know about yourself as well. Not the person labeling somebody else.
Yeah.
About yourself as well. Don't look for a label, not for other people, only for yourself either. Not for yourself, But you can describe yourself as you feel, however, but doesn't mean that because you said something, you are that thing. So if someone says, I am a doctor, maybe, after studying 2-3 years in the medical school, a person may think that I am a doctor. Okay, he may say that, but in reality what it is, he doesn't know. The problem is if someone's understanding of religion is practicing prayer and fasting, etc., so practicing that event only, so I am done. Okay, well, I have nothing to say to you, because you think that this is this is what is expected from the Quran or from the teachings of the Quran, so I'm doing it, finish. Then you can say anything. But we have to understand that how the teachings of the Quran establish that we have to confirm what we are doing, be sure of what we are doing, and the dimension which takes me to the infinite. To the infinite, it means absolute God, the relationship between me and my conclusion, which is the creator of the universe or owner of this universe. So if you are sure of it, you are sure. If you are not, you are not. Doesn't matter. But again, we are not after the after labeling my situation. But at the same time, I have been given the ability to question. I have been given the ability to investigate what is beyond what I'm experiencing here, and I have been again given the ability to concentrate on the meaning that I can extract from the things which exist in my own life, in my own environment. So if someone says, I pray, okay, I didn't think about it, for example, I didn't investigate it, but I believe. It's up to him, none of my business. But I would ask myself, am I using my abilities? Yeah. Am I really taking notice of it? Am I really connecting myself to the source of the existence of whatever the objects I'm interacting with? I have to ask these questions and see how am I really connecting myself to this source, how strong I feel that I'm sure of it. To the source, that's what the Quran says, ghaib. The terminology of the Quran, this ghaib, says beyond our perception. Still, I'm not satisfied with this definition, because we can perceive and make sure the existence of what is beyond the universe. It means beyond the things that we are experiencing here, because what they refer to, I can go, we look at the book and see what is beyond it. It means meaning. So I can conclude that the author of this book has stated this meaning through the scribbles. So although I don't know the author, doesn't matter, personally, and I don't know what's going on in his mind, but I can communicate with the meaning I am introduced through his writings. So although it may seem to be that the author is ghaib for me, ghaib, but I don't know who is this, the person who wrote the book. Okay, maybe it's an old one, he died, whatever. But even he dies, you can still communicate what he wanted to tell you through the book. It's there. So you cannot say that the ghaib is beyond my perception. It is within your perception, but not like the book itself. It means you can really perceive his meaning or what he meant by writing this sentence. Can you not? So we have to communicate with it continuously, because the book, you read one sentence, you communicate with one meaning. Not one meaning, maybe in one sentence there may be more than one, doesn't matter. Comparatively one meaning. So you read the second sentence, it has another meaning. The third sentence, confirmation of another meaning, maybe following, maybe really just fortifying the previous things, explaining, etc. What you are doing now, you are continuously in touch with the author. All the author is ghaib. But you can. You are are you sure? Yeah. But your understanding of the meaning in the sentence or in the book is restricted by your how do they say, interaction with the book and trying to understand the wider vision of the author, what he really meant, So what our duty is here to clear ourselves from our own, if you like, pre-established prejudices, not to impose my own understanding on the words that the author used. Try to understand what the author meant by the word within his context. Within his context, it means within the context of the whole book. Is it not? Is it impossible? No, it is possible. But how much depends on how much you, if you like, but which term should I? Made an effort not to bring your, or not to load your own meaning on the concepts that the book is, the author is using here. It means try to contextualize the word or the sentence within the whole book. It means, you know, self-denial, which we hear a lot, especially in the writings of certain type of authors. Self-denial means this. It means annihilating yourself means this. It doesn't mean that I'm nothing, I am nothing. No, you are something. But you are created. And you have a value in your own existence. In your own existence, you have value. But what is self-denying is not to impose your own understanding of the understanding of the word which you read in the book within your own capacity, but try to annihilate yourself. It means try not to bring your own understanding and load that understanding on the word that you are reading here. Oh, that is essential to read a text. So this is a textbook, is a text. How about the creation? It is a text too. It has meaning. So when I say, yeah, here it is, I like sugar there. I see there's some cubes of sugar. So I like sugar there. So this is sugar, I like it, that's it. That's your understanding. You know, in the existence of the sugar, try to see the meaning within the context of the whole book. It means whole existence. So generalize it, generalize it. It means see it at the universal level. You can, because it makes sense. You know, every word here in this book, for example, has the meaning with its own context, and the whole context is the whole book. So try to see it. That is essential in understanding the universe. That is essential in understanding yourself, and that is essential in understanding the especially divinely revealed scriptures. So you cannot really read a scripture and a piece of the scripture and get the dictionary and see the meaning there and impose the dictionary meaning on the word that you read in the scripture, which is divinely, which says I am divinely inspired. So what am I expected to do? I can benefit from the dictionary, but we have to be very careful to annihilate this and try to see that as much as possible. Is it completely, absolutely possible? No. We cannot get rid of ourselves, our own limitations. What is expected from us? To acknowledge my own limitations, that I cannot really annihilate myself completely.
Could the was just a question that I had. Could the Prophet do that? Is the Prophet the only one who's able to completely not put himself in the equation?
By definition.
Okay.
But by definition, prophets are expected to understand the word as it comes to them, with the meaning, according to the meaning of the source. But there's no need to argue about it, because I'm not a prophet, you are not a prophet, so we are not. So what is the benefit in elevating the status of the prophet? You know, prophet means the one who understands and by definition practices it as it is supposed to be. All right. Because still the attitude of the prophets, behavior of the prophets, and also sayings of the prophets are to be understood by me. Yep, by me. That it is extremely important because I am interpreting the behavior of the prophet or the sayings of the prophet. So it's still, at the end of the day, I come up with my own limitations. Even when I look at the prophets. Yeah. Someone goes on a Hajj and sees the Kaaba representing the, monotheism of the oneness, Tawheed, declared by a human being. Your understanding of Tawheed will limit your understanding of the prophetic message presented to human beings through Abraham, for example, if you go to. So try to imagine and try to make it as wide as possible within the whole context of the existence of your understanding of Tawheed. Then you go on Umrah next week. So that depends on you. And if you bring my privileged baggage and try to understand Abraham, the story of Abraham in the Quran presented to us, and the story of Kaaba also, how it was built, how he called people for it, but where is he calling? So these are all to be thought about seriously, but don't bring your own baggage because you learned that history is not important. History is not important. Quran never tells really history. Do you agree? No, Quran never tells the history, but definitely Quran always, or God always reveals to me the meaning, what this historical event reveals to me, or should mean to me. So pay attention, inshallah.
Maybe I'm not getting I don't understand it well, but like when you read a story or a book, you try to make connections with, in order to understand the purpose of the author, maybe I'm wrong, you have to make connections with how does it apply to yourself, to others, to other works of literature, in order to understand the message of the author. Is that a contradiction to what you're saying?
If I am sure that I understood you rightly, we cannot get rid of ourselves. This annihilation doesn't mean that we should deny ourselves completely. That shows the direction. Direction means what I should concentrate on more and what I should be careful about while I am interacting with the text or with the text of the universe. What I should be looking for? I should be looking for understanding the meaning of the event that I am interacting, or meaning of the sentence that I am reading within the context of the book. That is the direction. But is it really absolutely possible to annihilate yourself? No, we are created beings. And we exist because we are created. And we are created, we are always limited with the conditions in which we are created. Here we are. So we develop, we understand it, we develop. We increase our perception of the meaning of the source. It means we are always subject to making progress. It means we are always limited. Always we lack something, But direction is important. Direction, what are you looking for? For example, if I say, I read a sentence here from the book, and look at the dictionary, find out the meanings of the words here and say that, oh, I understood, it means this, forgetting its own context. It means my direction is wrong. Yeah, I'm not trying to annihilate myself. It means not to put myself.
Like remembering the context, are you saying the author's historical context and the situation that he was writing in? He or she?
Depends.
So, because and maybe I've misunderstood you, but I've felt that you've discouraged not discouraged, but like studying the hadiths and sort of historical events back in the Prophet's time. Isn't that important as well in understanding the context in which the Quran was?
Historical background is important as well, you are saying.
Well, I thought that's what you just said.
Okay, the book is written by a person. It's different from, for example, a drop of rain created by whom? By whom?
Creator.
So, creator of the whole universe. So, we have to contextualize the drop of rain within the universe, not history. So, when we say the Prophet, definitely we say Rasul Allah. It means Rasulullah. Right? Prophet means Rasulullah. It means one aspect of the Prophet is always related to the creator of the universe. So I have to look at his life and his examples, whatever, his exemplary behaviors within the context of him being the representative of the message of the creator of the universe. That's why we have to historicize, because we are now interacting or trying to connect or understand the meaning of the behavior of a person who represents the message of the creator of the universe. So we have to universalize it. Sometimes people say, no, it may not be sometimes possible. You have to see the universal aspect of it that is possible. But intention is needed. Intention means your direction. When you read a verse from the Quran or a saying of the Prophet, etc., you have to make sure that your direction is to connect this event, this narration, this sentence to the creator of the universe. Because this is the message from him represented by his messenger. That's why I love the expression Rasulullah, Rasulullah, Rasulullah. Why? It really gives me the awareness, or helps me to be aware that I'm talking about a messenger who is the messenger of the creator of the universe. Right? Saying that the prophet or this kind of terminology are always, maybe if you look, it doesn't matter, the Rasul, maybe these are details. Yeah, the difference doesn't matter really. But when you expose yourself to the teachings of the Prophet, whether in terms of verbal teaching or in terms of practical teaching, it means exemplary attitudes. You should never forget that he is the Rasulullah. So it means there is definitely a dimension of this event which ties up this event to the eternal source. If you don't see that dimension and reduce it to its historical context, it means you are looking at an event which is represented or practiced by Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Do you understand? Okay, he may be a very wise man, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, not Rasulullah, any event, if you read any story, well, narrated by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, sometimes they are presented in a very metaphorical way that you think you are reading any mythological fable, is it the right pronunciation? A fable, somehow made up story, doesn't have any reality in this world that I can approve it, because it is metaphorical. You have to see that this metaphorical teaching has been presented to you by a source, or the agent, who is Rasulullah, the messenger of the creator of the universe. So it becomes meaningful. You don't lose yourself in the event itself. So your understanding of hadith definitely changes, depending on the definition of the prophet that you have. Which kind of definition you have? Rasulullah. I love the expression.
And when he becomes a Rasulullah, he's Rasulullah 100% of the time, right? So anything that he does has a dimension that is connected to the Creator.
No, if you like, of course we should avoid going into if it's human side, because he is a Rasulullah, even in him being a human being, of course. He is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He is the son of his father. So, whether Abdullah or somebody, it doesn't matter. He is a part of this creation. But the mission he presents for me, I have to look at the mission. The mission he presents to me is to explain how can I connect myself to my Creator. Even he says, excuse me, I had enough, I had a lot, so that's enough for me, so I'm going to, for example, let's say use the bathroom. Then once somebody said, where is the prophetic message in it? There is a prophetic message in it. Yeah? A human being must behave in this way because he is created in this way. A human being has been created in this way, and to do this is within the will or purpose of his own creation. So we can interpret it. So you can be aware that, no, I need to go to the bathroom and use the bathroom. Okay, this is how I am created. You can connect yourself to your Creator, saying that my Creator has created me with this need and I obey. Right? That action will be a worship, because you are recognizing your connection with your Creator. So the Prophet is presenting, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the messenger of God, is presenting this event for you. It needs your interpretation. Right? Even when he said, oh, I don't know, this is what I thought of about something, how can we make the brownie? The Prophet says, why don't you put some more water in it, or some more oil in it, it tastes better. And the companions asked him, a typical example, companions asked him, is it a revelation from God, or is it what you thought? He said, that's what I thought. So when you think about something, is how you are created. That's what we are learning. It's quite normal. That's what you are. So the way you are created should be related to the Creator as well. So you don't have to receive a special message from your Creator apart from, but that is an important point, next to the way you are created, an extra message, verbal explanation, so that this will be the messenger of God. No, the way he is created is the messenger of God. But extra information, teaching, if you like. God is teaching, but it doesn't mean that I have not. That's that the Prophet is here, the Rasulullah is here, and he said, we should eat this much, or we shouldn't do that. And you say, are you sure that here is in America, it's not Mecca, or Saudi Arabia, or it's called here, you know my experience called there. He says, really? Well, I didn't know that outside was cold, etc. That's quite normal. That's how we are created. So it doesn't have to, he doesn't have to receive a special verbal explanation about the event. So to behave in this world for you and for me is correct. This is what I mean. Is correct, saying that I have not received anything from neither the Quran nor the practice of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's what I felt, that I should go and use the bathroom for any purpose. All right? So can you not make this action into a form of worship? You can. But let's say that you have not heard anything from the source, revelation, through the Quran or the Sunnah, that it is narrated to you. You have not heard of it. Can you not make your life into a form of worship? Can you or can not? What do you think? You are not following a hadith. You are not following a Quran. No, it's a, if you are aware that this fitrah has been given to you by your Creator through this acknowledgement and obeying your, if you are a principle of your creation, which is by you attributed to your Creator, that's how my Creator created me. Right? That is,
yeah, very important question, that's for me personally.
Okay.
So, as such, are there things that the Prophet ﷺ did that we don't have to commit ourselves to? For example, not drying the water after we, because...
certain actions.
Yeah, certain actions, we just, like, you know what I mean?
But you have to see the purpose of doing that action performed by the Prophet, and its connection to its connection means the connection of that event to its source of existence, God. So can you establish the same relationship? Can you be aware of it?
I'm not sure.
So
you just said we have a leeway to do things as God created us. Not everything has to be given to us by the messenger or the Quran.
We say you may not know it. You may, if you don't know it, it doesn't mean that you cannot perform your worship of God. Yeah. So it means you can. That's what the prophet is experiencing when he says, "This is not a revelation. This is not a revelation. So I haven't received any revelation from God telling me verbally, explaining what to do or what not to do." It doesn't mean that we cannot perform worship there. This practice of the Prophet shows me that it is possible for me to perform the worship,
okay,
to
so
perform my worship.
As such as my conditions are different than the Prophet's conditions, can I do things, or is it okay to do things that are different than what he did because he was just acting to his own?
If you say he was acting on his own condition.
No. According to his condition, as God created him.
But we are talking about now how we should understand the Prophet. So that if the Prophet says or does something and says that it is not really revelation from my God, it is how I felt. Right? So taking this example for you, if you don't know what the Quran is saying, straight speaking. So if you don't know what the Quran is saying, if you don't know what the practice of the Messenger of God is, if you don't know. So what you do, whatever you do, be careful, try to connect that action to its source of existence. That awareness is important. When you hear, okay, that the revelation explains that it should be in this way, then you obey it. Ya sami'na wa ata'na. We heard and we obeyed. So it means it is, we cannot really know everything if you like, that I am told by God what to do about everything. My language is not clear. Most of the time we are not.
Jumping off from Tariq's question though, then how specifically do we distinguish, for example, what is a sunnah that was taught to the Sahaba, you know, the people of Medina, etc., and between, for example, what was the culture of Medina or the culture of the people at that time? How do we distinguish between sunnah and the culture of the people then? You know, like how does one necessarily just like look at something and...
So we have to, it's very easy to establish a vertical relationship in action, in every action of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. It's very easy. So we have to see, even within the culture, you are living within a certain culture, yeah, as he did, how he behaved within the certain culture. He was a Rasulullah. He was the messenger of the creator of the universe. So in his attitude of dealing with the people in his own society, in the society he lived, always had the connection with the creator. So you have to have the connection with your creator. So you have to understand the matter related to you, a subject related to you, as an action performed by the messenger of God. Because you have to see the dimension of the prophet's action which tied him up to the creator, which connected him to the creator. That's what you have to understand the matter. Even in his relationship with the rest of the community members, you know, or with the in his relationship with the conditions of, let's say, climate there. So it is not really, for example, the climate requires that you should wear light or something thick. Okay, what matters for you is when you follow the requirements of the conditions of the climate, are you worshiping God or what? Are you connection? Are you seeing that? Are you really realizing that this climate, the conditions, the hot, cold, warm, whatever, wet or stuffy, whatever, is created by God, and you are out of your free will obeying God's conditions, or the conditions which is created by God. Are you or not? See that dimension in the narrations of the Prophet as well. When you really do that, it means read the narrations that you hear through Prophet. But when you say Prophet, it means through the companions, through the others who narrate that he used to do this or he used to say this, whatever. Whatever you have in your hand available. So all the sources must be understood by you and me as the actions and sayings of the messenger of Allah. It means I have to see the dimension of this event which connects to the creator. So by following this methodology, what I can do the same thing by connecting myself, right, to the creator of that particular event and make it into a form of worship. But if you really don't see this narration as performed or expressed by the messenger of God. If you see that a citizen of Mecca or a citizen of Medina, and try to follow, even if you do exactly what he did, you are following a philosopher or educator or a behaviorist. That's the difference. That's a problematic matter, but most of the time we don't pay attention to it. So our definition of the prophet is essential, and really it is imperative. How do you define the prophet? How do you see the prophet? What's prophet for you? Not only saying that, oh, he is the prophet employed by God and I have to obey and follow him. That's not important. What is important? When you hear a sentence from him, how do you see or how do you behave towards the sentence explaining what he did or what he said? Taking that sentence as what? The saying or action of the messenger of the creator of the universe, God. So you have to understand that text within this context. Try to see, where is God here? How can I really connect myself to it? In your behavior, when you, I don't know whether you dry or after taking wudu water you dry yourself or not, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? The prophet did in the action of whatever you do, in the action of the prophet, did you see the connection between that event and its creator and obeying the order of the creator there? Have you established that when you read the hadith? If you haven't, you are already lost. Do you get it? Do you follow? It looks a little bit puzzling, eh? Because it's not the way that we are used to understanding, or we are used to trying to understand the text, which is, if you like, scripture or divinely inspired. Divinely inspired text must be read as divinely inspired text. It means divine is revealing himself to you. It means calling you to connect yourself to him. I didn't know that the word ghaib will take that much space in our discussion, because I know it's when we get into a concept, we are lost. We are lost in that concept, if you like. So ghaib means this. Ghaib means never means unknown. I'm just recapping. Ghaib never means unknown, never means beyond human perception. It's within human perception. What we understand, if we reduce human perception to the capacity of the five senses, then by definition this is wrong. We don't consist of five senses only. Yeah, it's wrong. It means you don't understand human being. You wrongly define what human beings is or are. Do you get so far? So it's a little bit unaccustomed or unconventional way of looking at the matter, but it is it is not totally new, because people usually take it on the surface. Religion is always a secondary subject. First, I have to do something, and the religion is the problem is here. Religion is something to be heard, narrated to you, not something that you confirm. You come to the conclusion. You own it. It is external. That's why people go and listen to the people who are on the pulpit or in the, I don't know how this is called. In English.
Yeah, pulpit. That's right.
Podium, let's say. Okay. So go there and hear and not as assimilated. You know, I heard this. Put it in your pocket. Okay, pocket of your mind, pocket of your heart, pocket of your heart, and dwell on it. Reflect on it. And make it yours. The typical word we keep using, internalize it. Don't keep it. I do this because I am told to do this. That's my religion is. I pray because I am told that I have to pray. But how can you internalize praying? How can you make it yours? For example, it should become, even you have not heard that you have to pray, it should become a second nature of yours, or the first nature. Your first nature, I have to respond to what I am receiving. But you may not know how, okay? But you have to achieve this end, definitely. And don't reduce the prophet to a person or an instructor to do a certain gymnastic for you. This way, bowing and prostrating. The prophet is not in, how do you say, physical education instructor, PE, coach. Prophet is not a coach, because we said prophet is Rasulullah. Rasulullah. So you have to, for example, you heard that you have to pray 5 times a day, certain time, etc. So this is time I'm going to pray, because I heard it from whom? Rasulullah. Right? It means I have to see the connection in my prayer to the universe, connection to the creator of the universe. That is salah. But if you see the prophet as the coach, what you are doing, you are imitating his actions, concentrating on it and forgetting the dimension which ties you up, connects you to the creator. Yes.
So from what you're saying, I understand that we should learn from the Prophet how to connect all these things to our relationship with God, right? But we will never have the same experience as the Prophet in terms of, like, each person has his own experience, right? Like your experience when you're praying and the way you talk to God or feel His presence is different than mine. So definitely we're never gonna be like, we're not gonna have the same Prophet experience, right? Okay. But I'm really struggling with halqa today, because I just felt like we changed the subject into, once we were talking about ghaib, and I never found, like, at the end the conclusion, how do we experience ghaib, except that we use our abilities and all of this. But then we switch again to the sunnah and what is sunnah and what is not sunnah. So and then now we're back to this. So I just feel like I didn't come up with conclusions today. So like everything is left,
that everything is going on within you. No one says and said so far that we have to experience the same thing as the messenger of God did, or as a messenger of God Muhammad ibn Abdullah did. Do you see the difference? That Muhammad ibn Abdullah represents a person, a human being. Messenger of God, Rasulullah, represents his mission. So no one said this, no one says this. Everything goes on in you, within you. Everything is happening in you. What we are talking, how we should read the hadith or the verses of the Quran.
In terms of the Prophet connection with God.
No,
like how
what for you? For you?
For me.
For you, because you will read the hadith or the narration saying that this is said by someone who is the messenger of God. That's for you. So what you are expected to see, for example, the Prophet was walking like this. Example. A narration you read. But the Prophet was smiling at somebody who did a mistake. Right?
Okay.
You said, okay, I'm going to smile at somebody who makes a mistake. Who makes a mistake. No. First, you have to see in this narration that this narration is said by somebody who is the messenger of God. So you have to see the connection in this action to the Creator. So when you perceive that narration within this context, that it is an action, I have to look for the connection to the Creator side of it, inside. Because it is done by somebody who is messenger of God. So your understanding will have, if you like, will guide you in the development of your action, your own action. For example, if someone makes a mistake, you have to smile at him, but never disconnect yourself from the source. Yeah. So what we learn, we gather from the Prophet, prophetic examples or prophetic message. We have to gather and understand it, interpret it in terms of this is the message of the messenger of the Creator or the message of God. So appropriate it to yourself, make it your own understanding while you are practicing it.
And trying to connect with it.
Yeah, because that's how you should understand it. That's how you should understand it. So it is all related, what we have been saying. So you can connect yourself to Ghaib. Also, we started from the Ghaib means...
It's not, doesn't mean anything hidden or anything.
Yeah.
Like something
So did you get something? Did you? Or puzzling? Puzzling.
Yeah.
Because, what do you think? Puzzling. Did you find it puzzling?
No, not really.
Not well explained, I know, but at the same time, sorry?
Always very well explained.
No. But
No, I think that
it goes against the box that we are, we are educated or we are used to. And we
I think what I understood about the Sunnah is that we have to understand like what is the enduring understanding of the action, which is, for example, when you talk about a smile, the Prophet smiled when somebody made a mistake. It's not the what was the smile? What was the purpose? To show mercy. So that's what my understanding is.
Okay.
How do I show mercy?
So
my action is gonna have to show a mercy.
So because the Prophet says, you have to be compassionate to those people who make mistakes. Why? Why do I have to show compassion to those people who make mistakes? Sorry?
Because God is also merciful with us, and we always make mistakes.
Probably.
You got it. You got it. When you see it. So when somebody comes and makes a mistake, I made a mistake, you look at me and saying that, okay, all right. What you have to experience there internally. Don't say that the Prophet smiled, I smiled as well. It looks ridiculous. So you have to say, I am really practicing one of the attributes of my Creator as the forgiver. So that is yours now. you are following the messenger of God. If you imitate exactly what he did, you are following a great scholar. He's a good behaviorist.
You can't force compassion.
Sorry?
You can't force compassion. You can't force
practice.
Sorry?
He's right. He can't forcing. He need to practice.
No, practice him. So, force, you have to feel it. You have to internalize it. It means we are emphasizing on the importance of reading the texts, which are divinely inspired texts. Which kind of attitude we should have from the very beginning. From the very, what are you doing? I am reading the Quran. What do you mean by the Quran? What do you mean by the Quran?
The message of God.
The message of my Creator, the message of the Creator of the universe, right? That must be established first. So when you read a sentence out of the Quran, you have to see the relationship between yourself and your Creator through the guidance of this sentence. If you don't attach yourself to the Creator and just see the text within its own meaning, that the meaning itself, what it says, physically what it says, then what you do, you are not really internalizing it. So you are not really following the Quran. You are following yourself, your previous culture, because you are just really loading the meaning to the text, what you have already there, which is mundane. That's civilization, represented by the word civilization here. So when we say, no, I cannot follow the civilization, if I say, what does it mean? It means I have to go wild, huh? Because I'm not following the civilization. Nothing to do with it. I cannot really follow the civilization, which is, by definition, a type of life which is not based on revelation. It's just definition. So it means mundane. It means within the conditions of this world only, not the connection, not the aspect of this world which connects you to its Creator. That's the difference. It means following civilization means really following the matter itself, or following your own relationship with the universe. Okay, for example, I am hungry, I am eating. But I want to eat and I eat. Is it anything wrong with it? Not eating, but have I performed worship? It means fulfilled my first purpose of existence. If I acknowledge and realize the source of this hunger, source of this satisfaction is being created by my Creator, and I am given the possibility to choose whether do this action in His name or do this action in my name. I am hungry, of course I have to eat. That's civilization. Right? I am hungry, of course I have to eat. Then you eat, and that's it means really make it mundane. So what are we expected to do? I am hungry. My Creator has given me this need. Welcome. And my Creator has provided me this food. Welcome. And I use my free will to obey the command of God. Why? Because the creation is attributed to God, and God is telling you eat. What is going on there? Everything is going on within yourself Do you really recognize that? Are you really aware of it or not? Just, if two people sit here, they are hungry, one of them eat, the other one also eat. One of them eats to satisfy his need, the other one eats to obey his creator. Oh, that needs training. That needs recognition. That needs a definition of your existence of everything in the universe, and the definition of your being in touch with the universe. It's a completely different perspective. It can be summarized with this. Look at the event through the dimension which has a vertical relationship with its creator, rather than through the event which is a horizontal relationship with you and the other thing, disconnected from its creator. That's very simple, but believe me, it's difficult. It's simple because we are not used to. We are not used to seeing the matters related to religion within this context. Religion means imitating certain actions. So.
Yeah, just one thing, it brings me back to fasting. And I heard during Ramadan, my first Ramadan, that you fast because God asked you to fast because you need to understand what does it feel, what it feels like for another person not to have food.
Okay.
Which now I understand that that's not the case. You fast because to make you understand that God gave you the need. God made you as a needy person. And there's food and you will eat it. But how could you ever understand a person who doesn't have food by fasting? You will never understand that. So I think it's the evidence that.
So you change, huh?
Yes.
You're right. Sorry. Pray. No, it's time. Salat Dhuhr time is yes. So 10 past. You wanted to ask a question, or somebody else? I think we have to stop because they are going to call the Azan. We can talk about this thing. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.